welcome to Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and I'm joined by Ethan.
Yep, hello again, everyone.
And this week, we're doing kind of a 2 week Christmas series. This week, we're doing Krampus, and next week, we're going to do elves. And the beginning of the legend of Krampus, it started out in the central Alpine regions of Europe. So think Germany, Austria, just the general German speaking area of Europe. And it's thought to have come from pre Christian Alpine traditions from the 6th or 7th centuries. And it's believed to have been part of some sort of pagan rituals for the winter solstice, which is typically around December 21st, 22nd. So coming up really soon. And and there are no written records of Krampus before the end of the 1500s. So it's believed to be older than the late 16th, early 17th century, but there's really no way to definitively prove that's older than just a couple centuries old.
I believe it's probably older. Yeah.
Yeah, considering most legends and myths are usually first oral traditions, I've got to believe Krampus probably was one of those oral traditions
Mm.
that eventually got wrote down. And the general description of Krampus is that he's bipedal with horns and the hooves of a goat. And he's usually covered with hair that's either black or brown in color. And he's got a long, pointed forked tongue with fangs.
I
And if you look at this picture, he's very demonic looking.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like that picture basically fits him to a T from that description.
Yeah, he's not a very good looking creature, demon, person thing.
Yeah. Which there are other kind of descriptions of him, and like we'll talk later about pop culture and stuff about how they kind of look different a little bit. But some depictions of Krampus. He can be thought of as the counterpart to Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, pretty much the evil Santa Claus, as we were saying the last week. And it's thought just to scare children who have misbehaved, which happens during Advent season. And he usually carries around chains, which is thought to symbolize the binding of the devil by the Christian church. Also, sometimes has like little bells on him and stuff like that, which you think of Santa Claus having sleigh bells or whatnot. Sometimes Krampus is shown to have bells also.
Yeah,
And,
going back to our little theory that the Christian church, Catholicism, might have destroyed some of these pagan, you know, writings early on and kind of Christianized it.
and that's possibly why we don't have any written like mentions of him. They could be destroyed. So and misbehaved children were usually given lashes with like I think it was a birch stick or something like that, and that was from Krampus on December 6th. Sometimes Krampus is also shown to have a sack or a basket on his back, and he uses that to cart off evil or naughty children to either hell or possibly to eat them. And Krampus Day itself is on December 5th. And if you went back to the last slide there, you could see that he has a basket with a child on his back on there.
with a chain and like a birch sticks.
Yeah. I don't know why birch though. Like I couldn't find really why birch was a specific type. I don't know for sure if that's more of a bendy wood or something like that, or like I don't know.
And Krampusnacht or Krampusnacht is December 5th, like Ethan just said. And during Krampus Sloth or Krampus Run, men dressed as Krampus drink a bunch of alcohol. I'm going to probably say a bunch of beer since this is, the Germanic region of Europe. And they run through the streets and find children, presumably at least half drunk, if not completely drunk. And St. Nicholas, and sometimes on his own, Krampus visits homes and businesses where St. Nicholas dispenses gifts while Krampus delivers coal and lashings. And it's customary to offer Krampus schnapps, which is a strong distilled brandy.
I thought it was funny the Krampus run, like learning about that, because I'm like, that sounds so German that like just people just like getting drunk and just running around through the streets. Like that sounded
Yeah,
good.
dressed up as this demonic looking being, like, yeah, that's German.
Then also that it's like customary to offer it schnapps. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
So like you offer Santa milk and cookies, and they've got like a bottle of brandy there for Krampus.
Mm-hmm. And then in around the 1930s to 1990s, the Krampus traditions were banned by the Dollfuss regime under the Fascist Fatherland Front and the Christian Social Party after the 1932 elections in Austria. So it was banned. It couldn't really do anything with it. Which is that like still like happening right now? Do you know, Austin?
Now I think in the 90s, the after World War II, and that particular section of Germany was beat, and Austria
Yeah.
were being, I think, the CFFF and the CSP were kind of done away with.
Okay, I didn't know for sure if it was as big of a thing now. Like I saw pictures of it. I didn't know for sure if like the Krampus runs were still things that like were very well known
Oh,
about.
the Krampus runs still happen, but the banning of the traditions were under the CFFF and the CSP.
Yeah.
But we can thank Funny Mustache Man for that. But thankfully, funny looking Mustache Man was beat.
But yeah, as we were saying there, late 1900s, the popularity of Krampus has been revived, and there have been some 2000s pop culture stuff happening, kind of like the Krampus, the Yule Lord by Gerald Brom, which is a 2012 novel about Krampus. Then also there's the Krampus movie that came out in 2015, which I just rewatched for this episode, and I mean it's still pretty good. And then there have been multiple depictions in TV shows and stuff like that. Like it's pretty well known Krampus. And you said you didn't watch the Krampus movie, right, Austin?
Sadly, I didn't make the time.
Yeah. But Krampus in the 2015 movie, he still has the horns. Like the picture here is kind of Krampus from the movie. He has like he's more humanoid. He's kind of hunched over, got long fingernails, and then he's also still got the horns, but still very kind of creepy, demonic looking.
Yeah, but more so a demonic Santa than his own entity.
Yeah, as I say, some other depictions show him as either being half like goat or half demon. So I mean, this is more the demon part than goat, but
And some other similar creatures or companions of Saint Nicholas are Nick Ruprecht, which translates to farmhand Rupert or servant Rupert, and he's a man with a long beard wearing fur or covered in pea straw, sometimes carrying a long staff and a bag of ashes, and wearing little bells on his clothes, much like Santa. He asks children whether they know their prayers or not. If not, if they do, they receive apples, nuts, and gingerbread. So good things. And if they don't, he beats the children with his bag of ashes. Not so good. And another companion is Belsnickel, which is a man wearing fur covering his entire body, sometimes wearing a mask with a long tongue. And he delivers socks or shoes full of candy, but if the children were bad, he would deliver coal in their stockings.
yeah, these other companions here, I had never heard of these, but apparently they used to be more relevant. And like they're not as relevant as Krampus was because like the horror stuff kind of wins out. These, on the other hand, are just kind of just like hit you with a stick or like hit you with a bag of ashes or whatnot. They're not as bad.
Exactly. Krampus, though, can and will drag you down to hell if he sees fit.
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts are Krampus is nothing more than a bogeyman story, specifically made for Christmas to make sure children would behave. So I don't think the stories of Krampus are true in the sense that he actually exists.
Yeah, I agree with Austin. I don't think any of this is true in a sense. Just kind of like I said, try to get children to behave around Christmas time. Like, if you have, like a way of trying to get children to act good before, like, oh, Santa Claus will give you gifts if you are good. It's like, oh, okay, so I'll get gifts. But if you misbehave, evil Santa Claus will come and take you away. That's a little more disturbing, a little more scary than be like, oh, if I'm not good, I just won't get any presents or anything like that. It's just like, no, there's actual consequences to it.
Exactly. Do I want presents or do I want to be drugged down to hell for eternity?
Mm-hmm. And I do like Krampus because it gives another way to make horror movies in Christmas time. That's one of my things because I love horror movies.
I like making fun of horror movies.
You'd like Krampus then. You'd like it. It's a lot more fun than actual horror because you're sitting here. It's like at one point in the movie, toys are coming to life to attack people, and that was pretty funny.
Well, I'm gonna say, what's your favorite scary movie? And we'll see you next week with our episode on elves. Any last words, Ethan?
Notice, thank you for watching and have happy holidays, everyone.
And we'll see you next week for our last episode of the year. And like Ethan said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see ya.
Yep. Bye, everyone.